Episode 9 of the Going Around Buzz podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal.
Yep.
What's up, Sal?
Hello, Damon.
Well, I'm not happy. For obvious reasons.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad it rained today, kind of hides those tears.
Now today I'm wearing all black, and it's not to look skinny or anything. It's because the Rams lost to the Bucs 16-13.
Yeah, you know, we kind of thought it could possibly go this way this year. You know, the Super Bowl, championship, the hangover following the season, and it seems like everything that could go wrong is going wrong. But the Rams are in a tough situation now because, you don't want to start pointing fingers and make it even worse than it really is. The Rams need to stick together. That's super important that the Rams stick together, and otherwise it'll unravel really quickly. And if that happens, the Rams, there'll be a lot of changes at the end of the season if that happens.
I'm gonna show you some notes, Sal. The Rams gained 208 total yards with Matthew Stafford completing only 13 passes, and 8 of those went to Cooper Kupp. Sal, where are the other receivers at?
Wow. It's mind-boggling. I mean, the Rams went out and spent some money on, trying to improve the receiving core, but I don't know what happened. It's frustrating to watch, and it's painful to watch. That game yesterday was totally winnable. But, when a lot of people get mad at the, they were mad at the defense giving up that last drive for Brady to score, but the Rams defense has been on the field all season long. When your offense isn't scoring, you're gonna break, and that's what's happening to the Rams. But I like Kendrick. I like his aggressiveness. Mm-hmm. That's the way you play corner. I think a lot of the scheme is hurting the Rams also.
And they want to blame the defense. They give up the last touchdown for the Bucs to win 16-13, but it wasn't the defense's fault. To me, it was the offense's fault because the offense couldn't score. Mm-hmm. 2nd and 5, okay? Mm-hmm. Cooper Kupp gets the ball. And he's human, don't make me wrong. He makes everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's an all-pro. I'm just like, okay, go. And he slid. I'm like, why is he sliding too early? Because the people don't know, in the NFL, they mark off when you start sliding, not where you land. Now, if you do head first, it's a different story. But he gave up his body, so they marked it. I'm like, he had at least 4 more yards to go. And
I actually think he probably could have, gotten the first down standing up.
Yes.
But I think that it almost looked like he kind of realized that after, as he kind of slid, and he kind of probably, thought, man, if I had to do it over again, I would have probably, stayed in bounds and tried to. I mean, that was the key. He wanted to stay in bounds and, keep the clock, running. But, it happens when things. He does so much for the Rams. You take away Cooper Kupp from that offense, and you're in trouble.
And then 3rd and 5, they run the ball.
Yes.
Why not do what you did last year? Be aggressive in the playoffs, and throw the ball. I mean, this is it. Mm-hmm. You give Tom Brady the ball after 8 or 9 times of getting the ball. He's like, okay. He was happy to get the ball. He's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And then the defense is tired because the Rams in the 4th quarter, Sal, didn't get 1 first down. Let me repeat that.
Right, that is
didn't get 1 first down in the 4th quarter. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in football, you can, the reputation, your reputation changes very quickly. You could go from a hero to a GOAT really quickly.
Yeah.
And, you have to. I know the Rams' offensive line is hurt. I mean, everyone knows that, but the Rams still need to be aggressive. When you play right into the hands of the defense by not challenging your team, they got to step up and make plays.
Yeah. I
mean, these are the team. You broke camp with these players. You evaluated these players. These were the players that you said were your guys. You have to, it falls on the coaches and also on, the personnel decisions. You got to make, moves that are going to make sense. And losing Whitworth and Eric Weddle, and losing Miller, that type of the leadership, veteran leadership, Von Miller, those are glaring weaknesses. I mean, the Rams thought that they would be able to plug someone else in and then pick up, but that's definitely not the case.
To me, it seems like when the Rams is going to get in the red zone, they get allergic to the red zone. Like they're allergic to the red zone. They get in the red zone, The Rams only scored one touchdown, Cooper Kupp reception, okay? But then other times they went down there, field goal, field goal, field goal. It's like, come on, like, I mean, be innovative. And then you get the Rams fans saying, fire the offensive coordinator, fire this, fire Raheem,
right?
fire Sal, fire me.
Yeah, they want
Rams
to
fans,
everybody.
you're going to fire us too, Rams fans?
Yeah.
Calm down. We're still technically in the playoffs because we haven't been eliminated yet.
No, you haven't.
The Rams are 3-5.
Exactly.
You still got 9 more games to go. Okay?
And you got to approach it that way. I mean, it's frustrating, but you don't want to start pointing fingers. All that's going to do is just make it worse. The Rams have to just find a way to step up, and McVay knows what's wrong. He knows that there's got to be changes have to be made.
Yeah.
And you got to do it. I mean, the offensive line, you're gonna get somebody hurt, quarterback hurt. I mean, God, that play is just terrible at guard.
Bobby.
I mean, when you get pressure at the middle, he gave
like
up
a turnstile yesterday. I was like,
he gave up like 3 sacks, I think, right?
Yeah, man, it's 3 sacks. Vita was just like, excuse me, I need to talk to your quarterback right now.
Yeah. But when you have those type of struggles, you just think about. I mean, Aaron Donald. He pretty much was about to retire.
Yeah.
And you think he came back for this?
He didn't. Think about it. You think Tom Brady came back for Tom Brady? They should have beat him. Yeah. Think he came back for this? Like you see him at the podium, he's like, "Hey, Joe," and happy because he knows he's in first place.
Yeah.
They're going to win the division now. I guarantee they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is catch him. All they do is catch Atlanta.
And that's exactly.
I put my money on Tom Brady over Mariota and P.J. Walker.
Yeah. So the Rams just have to find a way to stay together, and you have to make changes. I mean, I know you have to challenge these players. You can't keep, talk to your blue in the face. The results are the same. The Rams offense is just, it's not productive at all.
Like Jalen Ramsey said, you heard what he said. He's like, who had the dog in him? Who has a dog? Like, don't rely on the defense. Okay, defense, take care of it. They're tired all the time. All those drives stopping them. And who has a dog in him on the offense to do something? To not even a dog, a lion inside of you.
It should matter. It should matter. I remember when Vermeil was coaching the Rams and he took over the Rams, and he said, when he walked in the locker room, he said, you know what? You have players laughing, and he said you couldn't tell if we won or lost. Yeah. He goes, you know what? I don't want those players. I want players that it hurts to lose, and the Rams are starting to get that way now. You won last year. That was last year. We all knew it was going to be a new season. These players need to be challenged, and if they can't get the job done, you bring in people that can. But you cannot throw this out, roll this type of football out in L.A. You'll lose your fan base very quickly. I mean, I've seen this movie, and I know how it ends.
All on
LA
social media.
Brutal.
All on social media. Fire this, fire. I'm just like looking at. I'm looking at all of it. I'm looking on Twitter, Facebook. I'm like, oh my Lord, fire! They had to think of fire this guy. Hey, as long as my face don't end up on there, don't fire me. Don't fire.
Well, it's funny because I read all this stuff and I laugh because every Ram fan is frustrated. There's not one Ram fan that's okay with it. But it doesn't make me feel better to beat my team up.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that.
Exactly.
And for me, I see it and I know that it's not going to get better by yelling or wanting everyone fired. It changes nothing. So you just got to get better.
The Rams are now the 8th defending Super Bowl champion and have a losing record after 8 games. The previous 7 didn't make the playoffs. Do you think the Rams will make the playoffs?
Wow. That question is getting it's getting asked a lot, and honestly, the way the Rams are playing now, do you just want to make the playoffs or do you want to get in the playoffs and actually do some damage? If you just want to qualify for the playoffs, just to say you're in the playoffs, every year you should be built to win the Super Bowl. You should be, your sights should be on winning the Super Bowl. So for me, I think the Rams, there's a lot of teams that are losing right now, but the Rams could still sneak in. But, how good are they going to be? Sign OBJ and then I'll talk.
No, they're 3-5. Do you remember what team was 3-5 last year? Made it to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
The Niners.
Was it San Francisco?
The Niners were 3-5 last year. Kept on saying, one more game, they lose, they're done. One more game, they lose, and they kept on. I think when your back's against the wall.
In that game, who was the team that they beat to get it started?
The Rams. So the Rams played them last year, 3-5, and then they started the win streak.
But let me ask you this: do you think the Rams have the talent that the Niners had last season?
No. Because one thing about the Niners, they got they got dogs in them.
It's just drafting, right? You plug guys in, especially their running backs. We can't. Running back position for the Rams has just been very tough to make consistent. There's players out there too that could have helped the Rams, but
the Rams play the Cardinals this week. DeAndre Hopkins versus Jalen Ramsey. If the Cardinals get beat badly by the Rams, do you think the Cardinals fire their coach? And hold on, I know 2 Cardinal fans. Lynn Jackson, the Birdman,
Lynn Jackson.
and Sonia Tellez. Only 2 Cardinal fans I know, so I can't really talk like much trash to only 2 of them. They're not like they're not. They're
diehard.
They're diehards. So big shout out to Lynn Jackson, the Birdman. Big shout out to Sonia Tellez. With that being said, what do you think about this game?
This game is coming at the right time for the Rams. At least they can stop the bleeding for at least 1 week. But the Rams, you have a player like Murray, Kyle Murray, he's hard to defend. And right now the Rams defense is in, disarray. If he starts running all over the field, it's going to be tough to stop him. You cannot take anybody lightly right now the way the Rams are playing.
Now the Rams have won 100 of the last 101 games versus the Cardinals? Not like that, but I think 13 or 14. I could be wrong.
They have been dominating that series.
They dominate the Cardinals like the Niners seem to dominate us.
Yeah, we just have each other's number, right?
Yeah.
But right now, when you're struggling, you cannot take any team lightly, and I think the Rams know that. And it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, it'd be nice to leave SoFi Stadium with a win.
Do you think if the Rams win and they win 42, do you think Cliff Kingsbury's last year's this year if they don't make the playoff, the Cardinals?
I think so, and I think one of the reasons why is you still see that there's still problems between Kyle Murray and coach.
Yeah.
It's just Kyle Murray is pretty much doing his thing. He doesn't want to run the football. He wants to pass every down, and you have to be a balanced offense to be able to, I think, consistently win in the NFL.
And it's funny because last year, the last couple of years, they started off like 6-1, 7-0. This year they're starting off
bad.
He gets
hurt, right?
Yeah, this year they're just starting off bad. So the Rams, hopefully the Rams win and start a winning streak. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's guaranteed.
Well, see, and that's what makes it so difficult because if the Rams losing continues at the end of the year, I mean, you're going to look at Aaron Donald. Is Donald going to want to come back and play for the Rams? And the Rams pretty much would be rebuilding.
Yeah.
With very limited draft picks, right? Donald will probably want to go play 1 year
in Pittsburgh.
He'll probably want to go home, play for the Steelers.
McVay will be on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then McVay be the new John Madden.
Who would be our coach?
Hey, we're not there yet. Don't you?
That's what I was going to say. I don't even want to speak on that because I don't want to go down that road.
Now I'm going to ask you.
I want to turn it around and win.
The NFL lost 3 players this past week. Ray Guy, 2-time Super Bowl champion defensive tackle. Dave Butts, an 8-year veteran of the Rams, starter. Mike Fanning. Did you see any of these players growing up? I remember Dave Butts.
Yeah, I did watch them. Yeah, I watched them growing up. That era was amazing because, I mean, it was interesting to see when the Raiders drafted Ray Guy in the first round. I mean, and he played his whole career with the Raiders.
And he's the first punter into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He averaged, I think, his average was like between 42, 45 yards a punt for his whole career. And then Dave Butts, I mean, he was huge. He
played defense, right? Because I remember the Hogs and all that.
He was a defensive
I remember Dexter
tackle.
Manley. I remember
he
the
was a
80s.
defensive tackle. He actually was drafted by the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals.
That's right, okay.
And then he played, I think, 2 years for the Cardinals. Then he moved on to the Redskins. But he was like 6'6", like 300 pounds. This is in like 1975, 74, 75. That's huge. So he was a great player. And then Mike Fanning, I mean, came out of Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was a great team. He started for the Rams along with Cody Jones in Super Bowl 14. So
see, I never saw Mike Fanning.
He actually lived in Westminster for a while.
Really?
Yeah, Mike Fanning. Yeah, I have a couple of cool pictures after that during that '79 season when we went to training camp. He used to drive this old beat up Chevy truck. He was so down to earth, and he was a cool guy.
Did he ever come to the barbershop?
No, I didn't. I didn't have my shop at the time, but he lived in the neighborhood behind here. Yeah.
Let me talk about.
So did Doug France. I liked him also.
Now the Giants had a bye week, and their starting safety Xavier McKinney hurt his hand in an ATV accident in Cabo San Lucas. He'll be out for a few weeks. With the Giants holding on for the 6th spot, and they start to play the Cowboys and the Eagles, do you think that was an irresponsible thing to do?
Yeah, it's sad, but you have to start putting stipulations in the contracts during the season. You hurt the team. A lot of this stuff seems like it would. They probably don't realize how important it is, but you really do let your team down during the season. Right now, the Giants are having a good year. You don't want to be that weak link or the person that caused them to kind of struggle when it didn't have to. You could do all that in the off season, but even still, you're limited. You can't ride motorcycles. There's a lot of limitations that are written in contracts that don't allow that, which I totally understand.
Now, you said the off season a couple, maybe years ago, Pierre-Paul was in the off season, 4th of July.
Oh, man.
And next thing you know, he's
that was crazy.
missing fingers, you know?
I can't believe that he actually came back and
Yeah.
he picked up right where he left
did a
off.
good
He was
job.
still dominant. What an amazing story that was. But again, very unfortunate. He could have prevented that by being more responsible and not partaking in a lot of these these
extracurricular
holiday
activities.
right?
Now, let's talk about some NFL games. The Chargers won 2017 on a fumble recovery, and the defense led to the winning field goal.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that?
I was watching some of that game, and Atlanta played well, but the Chargers did just enough. And it's so frustrating, but it helped us. Of course, I was going for Chargers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to better our opportunity and our chances of making the playoffs. But Atlanta is tough to watch, because you just don't know what team you're going to get. And a lot of coaches, that's where the fourth quarter is really where coaching comes in. You have to be consistent. You can play well, but I remember Vermeil used to say, just if we're down, he said 10 points or less in the fourth quarter, I expect to win that game.
One of the biggest upsets to me, the Lions beat the Packers 15-9.
Yeah. I was happy for Jared Goff, though. I was.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers done? Do you think he's done after this year?
I think so. I think that, look what the Packers went from, being one of the, last year everybody was falling all over themselves with the Packers. And then now, you can blame it on, losing Devontae Adams, but it's deeper than that. I think there's Aaron Rodgers, he wants to do it his way. And if he doesn't get his way, then, it's going to show on the field. And I think he's struggling. And a lot of these players, I'm sure it's hard to play for him, too.
Another surprise is the Jets beat the Bills 20-17.
Man.
Josh Allen was picked off twice.
Yes.
And he's battling an elbow injury now. Bills Mafia, are you concerned, Bills Mafia?
I think they should be. He looked a little bit like he was affected by the pass rush by the Jets. The Jets got to him. That team is pretty scary.
Yes.
It's crazy that New York has
Jets?
two good teams now.
The Jets?
I remember at the beginning of the season, everybody was laughing, and now they're starting to get the last laugh now. The Jets, it's kind of exciting to see them have some success.
Sal, the Jaguars beat the Raiders 27-20. Now, the Raiders gave up another 17-point.
Yeah.
Now, what did I... Hey,
boy, that's tough.
How about those Raiders? Just win, baby.
Yeah.
27-20. Sal, I was watching at El Torito, right? The Raider fans were there.
What was Raider Nation? How are they responding? That was
They're
a
like,
wonderful game.
Hey, I said, you know what's going to happen. Relax. Man, you trying to... I said,
they said trying to jinx it.
Up against the Cardinals, lose. Up against the Chiefs, lose. Up against the Jaguars, lose.
Yeah.
I think they lost another team.
That's crazy. Because they're like inventing ways to lose. These games are winnable games for the Raiders.
Yeah.
They start off and they look great. But, again, you have to play 4 quarters. And
Hey, is Josh McDaniels done or does he get one more year?
if I was Mark Davis, I think I've seen enough.
But come on, Sal, 3 coaches in a year. John Gruden, obviously, the special teams coach.
Yeah, but you got to make the right hires. That's why it's so important. You just don't fire someone just to fire them. You have to have a better replacement. And you have to have, but you cannot be in a big market, like Vegas is, that's high profile. And you cannot, people will go to the games, but you want to turn it around. I mean, they got a brand new stadium and, you have to be exciting. And right now, Raiders aren't exciting.
I'm going to tell you something I think is going to happen. This is strictly from me. If the Chargers or Raiders fire their coach, guess who's going to be the new coaches?
For the Rams?
No. I said not for the Rams. I said if the Chargers fire their coach, because the Chargers may not make the playoffs and they have talent, or if the Raiders fire their coach, guess who the coach is going to be? I already know who it is.
Sean Payton?
There you go.
Well, it's so funny because, but everybody is Sean Payton. I think would, I think his first preference would be the Chargers.
Yes,
because he wants to work with Justin Herbert.
I guarantee.
He said that
if you go to the Chargers, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Mark my words. If he gets hired by the Chargers, they will go to the Super Bowl. within a year or two.
Yeah, he is a good coach.
Yes,
but,
he's a great coach.
But it makes it bad for us, though, because they're playing in the same stadium. They have a better record than we do. And, we need as many fans as we can get. So I kind of don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the Chargers to be more successful than the Rams. But there's he's gonna have his pick of the coaching opportunities, though. So.
And our nemesis, Seattle, not our nemesis, but our division leader, Seattle won 31-21 in first place. Can you believe that? With Geno Smith? Comeback player of the year, Geno Smith?
Yeah, Geno Smith's getting it done now.
They're in first place.
And they look good, too.
They look good.
Their offense is really clicking.
One thing about Pete Carroll is he has youth exuberance, right? Yeah. So he gets a younger team, and he makes them play. Mm-hmm. He makes them play. Even when Richard Sherman and them were first rookies, he rallied he's good at rallying people. Right. USC. He's young. He's 70, but he's a great
motivator.
Great motivator. Great motivator.
I was surprised after they after Russell Wilson left, and I saw an interview with him, and he was saying, you know what, we expect to win at least 10 games. We don't expect.
And everybody laughed at him.
That's what I was going to say. They thought it was funny, but he's probably not surprised that they're having success.
Yeah.
He's a good coach, and you got to give it to him. But they look dangerous, though. They definitely do. While everyone's talking about other teams, I think that they could be, a problem for a lot of teams.
The Sunday night game, the Chiefs beat the Titans 20-17. Patrick Mahomes threw for 400 yards again, and Tennessee was winning late, but had no passing game. So, what'd you think about that game?
Yeah, I was watching that. And, I was going for, of course, the Titans. It's hard. They played about as well as they could play, and then eventually Mahomes took over and did what he does.
They're like a physical team, but they only have there's no superstar quarterback, no superstar receiver. They have a running back. Okay, run the ball 50 times, good. Wear and tear.
You have one-dimensional, and that's the problem because you have to put the ball in the air, and Robert Woods, I miss that guy. He looked pretty good.
Man, what we could have had him.
Yeah, Robert Woods. Who would have known? But he's no longer here, so we gotta move on.
These are week 10 games coming up. I'm going to go find them. We'll talk about
let's see what they got.
Seattle and Bucs in Germany. I'm going for the Bucs for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I'm going for Bucs, but I would probably say Seattle's going to win that.
So by the time we go to tailgate next week, it'll be like the third quarter.
Yeah. You never know. Sometimes those games that are out of the country, those games are kind of different. Anything could happen.
Vikings at Bills. Now, Josh Allen may not play with the elbow, so
the Vikings are playing good ball.
They're under the radar. They're 7-1.
Yeah, they're quietly playing good ball. So I would say, I think Buffalo. They started off really quickly and they started off fast, but it's hard to sustain that type of play for 17 games. So I think now they're gonna, like the Rams hit their injuries, early, and I think the Rams could still level off and have something to build on, but. I think Buffalo is, right now they're ripe for a loss.
Cowboys and Packers. Ooh, Aaron Rodgers is going to get beat up. Yeah, coming off a bye too.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers like, man, get me out of here.
Yeah, Rodgers is. Yeah, it's got to be tough when they put the camera on him.
Yeah.
He's running out of expressions. I know he's not happy.
Yeah, and then Sunday Night Football, Chargers and Niners.
Yeah.
In San Fran.
Yeah, go Chargers, huh?
Yeah, go Chargers. I think hopefully the Chargers can pull off an upset because Rams win, Niners win. It's 5-5. Even though the Niners beat us twice, but it's jumbled up.
We still gotta stay close. This season is crazy. You never get, I never give up hope. It doesn't matter to me. I think I don't. The Rams have an opportunity, even though it doesn't look like now. And any team could turn it around and get hot.
And I think the Rams. Okay, there's 8 games or how many games left? There's 3-5. I think the Rams need to go 7-2 in their last.
Yeah, out of 9 games.
To make the playoffs. What do
you think?
think?
I think they gotta win. They gotta be at least. I would say 6-3.
That'll make them 9-8. Sal, you think?
But I think that could get. I could get it done.
Sal.
This season is terrible. There's a lot of teams that I don't know if it's parity or just.
Because you wait, 7 teams make it. So the Eagles are going to go to the playoffs. So 3 teams from the NFC East will probably make it. Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. That's 3.
But that's if
Seattle, 9. You know what I'm saying? Niners, and you got Minnesota. So it's man, come on now. Because last year 3 teams in our division made it. So
that's if he can sustain the play now. But teams change so quickly. from week to week, you know. But I think Minnesota definitely is playing good ball right now, and they're, you know, we'll see how far Kirk Cousins. I mean, I don't know about that, but you know, they got a good team. They're playing good ball.
Before we head out and talk about tailgate, big shout out to La Brea Bakery. They're sponsored by the Rams. They're official partner of the Rams. They're the perfect bread for tailgating. You ever heard of them before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I love bread. So.
Yeah, I love bread too. Big shout out to Karen.
Yeah,
it's called.
bread, you can't beat that.
Yeah, big shout out to Kelly. It's called La Brea Bakery. LaBreaBakery.com/tailgating. Man, so they're going to sponsor us with some tailgate stuff, bring some bread over here.
That, huh?
We're going to be talking and eating 10 pounds. Once again, LaBreaBakery.com/tailgating. Perfect bread for any tailgate. Speaking of that, we'll be at the tailgate. That's episode 9 of the Going Around Buzz podcast, Sal.
Let's get a
See
win.
you at SoFi, everybody, with the Rams. Whose house?
Rams
house. Whose house? Rams house. LaBreaBakery.com/tailgating for all your tailgating needs. LA Rams sponsor. Big shout out to La Brea Bakery. What's up, Kelly? For all your tailgate needs, LaBreaBakery.com/tailgating. They will be at the tailgate. Fresh bread. Look them up. They have different locations all around. Whose house? Rams house.
I like to